I'm at FLA Live Arena. Panthers and Bruins tonight, Game 6. We're going to talk about that. Crowder is still in Kansas City. You got the NFL Draft Night 2, which is rounds 2 and 3. That is tonight, and the Dolphins will have a couple picks, actually. And we also have a Heat game to get ready for on Sunday against the stinking Knicks. So we got a lot to cover here. I'm starting to think, and again, we're going to cover it all today, I'm starting to think that the Dolphins might be in store for a tight end tonight. Mm-hmm. And, I haven't read much of the mock drafts or watched too much coverage. I watched some of the draft last night, but I hadn't paid much attention. You and I were kind of like offensive line. A couple of the mock drafts that I read have them taking a tight end. I was texting with Lee Sterling this morning. He usually joins us on Fridays. He's not going to join us today because we have so much to get to. But he said he would bet. That was one of his bets tonight. Can't remember what the tight end's name was. I'll look it up here. He says, I like Dolphins to take a tight end in the first round of the draft at plus 320. So I'm starting to think that they're not going to take offensive linemen. And so I said, I had texted Lee Sterling back, and I'm like, whoa, what about an offensive lineman? Yeah. And he's like, no. He's like, why an offensive lineman? I said, I would take 4 offensive linemen. They have 4 picks total. I would take 4 offensive linemen. So you're around the draft. Have people been saying anything about the Dolphins?
No, the Dolphins weren't a topic because they didn't have a pick. Yeah. And then, there'll be a topic today coming up here in a second, but they were no topic there. But it makes sense. Coach wants to find his Kittle. Like, everybody comes from the trees. Those coaching trees and the coaching, philosophies. He wants to go find his Kittle. I agree with it if they want to take it. I'm with you, though, Hawk. Go protect Tua. Our biggest question is not our players anymore on our roster. It's our quarterback and his head. Protect Tua's head with these draft picks. If they get a tight end, I won't be mad, but I think they'll have big boys because we're loaded everywhere else. And what these teams are doing now in the AFC after last night's draft and what happened with Lamar, this AFC is loaded.
It is loaded. There's going to be some great drama. There's so much drama in the AFC. Redo Snoop.
Hey, man, you need to put that on a T-shirt. I'll wear that.
There's so much drama in the AFC. Come on. Yeah, I was surprised last night. And I'll tell you another thing. Barry Jackson in the Miami Herald, and I think he's got a pretty good feel a lot of times for Florida sports fans. He tweeted, whatever the Dolphins do, please don't take an offensive lineman at number 51 or 84, in my opinion. They've drafted 17 guards or tackles in the second, third, and fourth rounds in the past 32 years, and only one worked out. And he says that's Robert Hunt. Please find offensive line help in the veteran market. Too big a risk with rookies here for whatever reason. But Barry Jackson's opinion is interesting.
No, the numbers bear out, but maybe they get lucky. They messed up so many times. My number's going to hit sooner or later.
They're due.
Yeah, it's due. I'm going to keep putting these chips on
23 on the roulette wheel, and I keep getting 26, 11. At some point, 23's got to hit. No.
And that's the thing. And I've also heard running back too. That's something I heard when I was here. When somebody just went through the AFC East and they said running back because Gibbs, the guy to Alabama, he already went. He was so surprised he got his name called. He didn't know what was going on. He was taking a nap. But they had him attached to Miami, so they're in the talks of they might get a running back.
I was super surprised by Anthony Richardson. I'm not going to lie. In my opinion, he was going to be one of those guys whose name was mentioned leading up to the draft, and maybe he's a home run, and the name gets thrown out there, and it starts to pick up a little bit of steam. But then you get to an NFL front office, and no one wants to be the team that actually pulls the trigger on him because there could be downside as well. And Indianapolis took him at number 4. I was blown away. Remember yesterday on the show, I told you the over-under on Anthony Richardson was 4.5. The under was like plus 200 or something. The under paid a nice little ticket there. But, yeah, I was surprised he went number 4.
Yeah, he's a project. He's just a ball of clay. Like the Colts they can make him whatever he's going to be. And I think that was the big side on Anthony. And the biggest story yesterday was Will Levis.
Will Levis.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That's what that took over. I was at the draft for 5 hours. That was 2.5 of the hours. Was talking about Will Levis dropping and them, showing him, and his face getting red, and his girlfriend having a mad look on her face. And there's rumors. What's it called? Telephone when you just talk. They said I'll say it, no backing or nothing. Or they said he's a butt wipe and he's arrogant as all get up. Is what I heard in the back rooms there when I was out there.
There's obviously a reason. There's a reason that he's being talked about as a top 10 pick, a top 5 pick, and then all of a sudden the entire first night of the draft goes and he doesn't get picked. That doesn't mean that they got it right. Doesn't mean that they got it wrong. You don't know. Like, that's the beauty of the draft. Tree and I were talking before the show started about Dan Marino slipping, and you're like, okay, yeah, there was some smart moves there. Yeah. But it got us thinking, if we have time today, and we might in the 4:00 hour, we might play. We didn't play any NFL draft day stories yesterday because we were coming off the Heat and the Panthers victory, and we just had no time. Because of what happened with Will Levis last night, kind of want to play Brady Quinn's draft day story with us, where he was the guy in the green room and team after team passed on him. Mm-hmm. And if you remember the story that he told us, at one point the commissioner came down, had mercy on him and said, why don't you just come up to my suite because the cameras aren't in there. Yeah. And so Brady Quinn kind of escaped up there. So try to play that story today if we get time.
And he ate a burrito or something.
And he ate a burrito from Chipotle.
Yes. Yeah. I remember that story. Funny thing, you bring up Brady Quinn, and we were joking about it, I think earlier, late last week, early this week, that him and Ryan Clark had that thing going on. Ryan interrogated me about my takes on it yesterday.
That's funny. Yeah. And you want to know my take on it. This is why I thought Ryan, I know he's your friend. I'm not bad-mouthing him. This is why I thought he was a little overboard with his outrage at Brady Quinn. It didn't matter, which is what Brady Quinn said. He goes, me talking on the 3-Yard Cloud of Dust podcast. I forget what the podcast is named. Me saying something that I may have heard about C.J. Stroud is not affecting the pick. And by the way, it didn't. He went pretty high in the draft, I believe, number 2.
Yes,
so,
sir.
All the outrage, it's character assassination. Not so certain, RC.
Yep. And I was around somebody's camp, and they asked me about Brady. Hey, Brady Quinn's here. I was like, I haven't seen him, but why do you want to see him? Like, yeah, they were mad about that. It was a group of people mad about that. I didn't know people were outraged.
Yeah, so very strange to me. It was very strange to me. It was like, is it really that big a deal? Like, of all the things to cape up for, in my opinion, what Brady Quinn had said about C.J. Stroud was pretty, tame. Like, he ghosted the Manning Academy. Like, if you thought that would assassinate his character, I think you misjudged what that story was about, in my opinion. Like, if you thought someone wanted to take him with the number 2 pick or the number 1 overall pick, and they said, yeah, but you know what? He didn't show up at the Manning Academy. I heard Brady Quinn say that. So he'll drop to, 70. I think it was given way too much credence, but that's all right. Everybody needs something to yell about.
Yeah, no, Bryce Young's too small. This guy, C.J. Stroud in his test, he got an 18 out of 98 or whatever. They always look for the negatives because they're trying to find. We know he runs a 4.4. We know he threw for 65 touchdowns. They look for that negative, and whoever does put any negativity out there, Hawk, people get hot with them. But the NFL does it. That's the funny thing. It's the name of the person that releases it that gets the brunt of all the anger.
Well, correct. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't Brady Quinn was just relaying something that he had heard.
That's the funniest part. And he said, I heard this.
Which you just said you heard Will Levis was a butt wipe.
I heard a couple of people told me that.
Are you character assassinating him, or are you just hearing what some people are saying?
I don't think so. I'm just relaying a message.
Yeah, so I don't know. I thought that whole thing was wildly overblown by your friend Ryan Clark.
Yeah, but we talked about. I didn't think Ryan would ask me about it, but he did, and I thought of you.
I appreciate that. Yes. I hope you had Brady's back a little bit at least. He's a very good friend of the show.
You weren't there, so you couldn't read the room. Not too many of Brady's family members in that room.
I gotcha. All right, so let's do headlines here. So David Furones covers the Dolphins for the Sun Sentinel. He is going to join us. Tell us maybe what the Dolphins are planning on doing tonight. Doug Plagans will stop by. We'll talk some Panthers Bruins with him. Randy Moeller is going to stop by. And Clay Ferrero, our friend from Local 10, will be up here doing, live shots as we bombarded him last week when he was here and jammed ourselves into the Local 10 5 o'clock news.
I'm going to be ready for you this week.
Maybe I'll do it with Tree this time since you're in Kansas City. Let's get headlines here to start the show, though, with Alejandro Solana, who bought himself some Panthers tickets today. He'll be out here tonight.
Hey. Let's go. Let's go Cats, baby.
I like it.
The sports update, it's driven by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Super Center. Why buy your truck at a car store? Palmetto Ford, we know trucks. 7:30 p.m. Panthers, Game 6 versus the Bruins. They're coming for that ass. They're going to have to do it without the Lamborghini. Ryan Lomberg is going to miss Game 6 and 7. You heard what I said there. Game 6 and 7 of this series, unfortunately.
You're not saying if there is one. You're saying he will miss Game 6 and 7.
He will miss Game 6 and Game 7.
All right.
Unfortunately.
I hope you're right.
I haven't looked. I haven't really dug into this, Hawk, but I imagine Sergei Bobrovsky.
I mean, if he's not, then Paul Maurice needs to be run out of town. I didn't look either, but I can't imagine that's even a consideration.
Why does Solana say I didn't look? Why did he make it long? I didn't really dig deep and look deep into this.
I'm just throwing it out there. All right. So if it's not Bob, don't blame me.
Yeah,
I didn't go digging.
If it's Alex Lyon tonight, then Paul Maurice absolutely hates Sergei Bobrovsky.
Or South Floridians.
Solana, if Lyon gets in the net, you have to run out on the ice. Find a way.
Yeah, that's a good call. Do that.
Yeah.
Can you storm the ice?
No problem. You jump right over the
Oh, okay. The glass?
Plexiglass, and then you're right there on the ice. You get anytime you want.
Okay.
Sneak in with the snow scrapers.
Feel free. Anytime you want, jump over the plexiglass, run around on the ice. Tell them Hawk sent you. Just look for the 10-foot chicken on the roof.
I would like to congratulate Randolph Channing Crowder for being right. No, for being right.
What did he say?
The day of the combine, you said Anthony Richardson will go top 5. Book it. You told me to mark the tape, and I have the tape. I didn't go back looking for it, but I know you said it.
Well, then you don't have the tape.
Well, I have it somewhere.
He has the tape in his mind.
Either you have it or you don't. This is an audio medium.
So
you did that lead up and said, I have the tape, but you're not going to play it?
Just take my word for it. Channing Crowder said this. Take my word for it, everybody. All right?
Take my word for it. I mean, the worst radio program of all. Like, he perfectly led up for the sound of Crowder saying it, but now we have to take your word for it, and you're a known liar.
Listen, Mr. Audio Medium. I mean, with the Zamboni behind you, this whole segment? I mean, what's going on over there?
I'm sorry. As you know, I run FLA Live Arena, and I'll have my employees on the maintenance crew be quiet the next time I'm speaking. Hal, if you can keep it down over there.
Sounds like you're at a Smoothie King. With the
I'm at
an
arena. I'm at an arena. I mean, what like? It sounds like, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like I'm at an arena that's getting ready for a Game 6 tonight.
All right. Well, congrats, Crowder. You were right. Your boy went 4th to the Indianapolis Colts.
Man's a monster.
Granville.
Sorry.
Been down on the waxer. Appreciate it.
His name is Granville. Granville.
Tonight in the NBA, Kings Warriors 8 p.m. Game 6. Golden State can close it out at home. Lakers at 10:30 p.m. host the Grizzlies. They're up 3-2. They can close it out at home. If there are Game 7s, they will be Sunday. Times to be decided. The Heat play Sunday, 1 p.m. in New York. Last night, Celtics closed out the Hawks on the road, 128-120.
Hey, Phil. I don't know if you saw Phil walking behind me there. Have a good one. All right.
The Dolphins do pick
Now,
number
call me Mark.
51 overall today in the second round. And then in the third round, if there's no trades, they'll have the number 84 overall pick. And the Marlins tonight, they open up a 3-game series versus the Chicago Cubs. First pitch, 6:40 p.m. from Lone Depot Park. Your weather from the Demesman and Dover Law Firm, youraccidentattorneys.com. Call them 866-954-MORE. Partly cloudy right now in South Florida. Tonight, your lows will be in the 70s. That's your weather.